So that is a Reese and 3 resources.
That is a recent 3 verdicts.
So this looks like it's fairly early in the game. We have a Polka with no Ruby, and a Stormcloud with 2 resources, Verdicts for days, and Tetzot.
Tetsuo again. This Tetsuo though.
In the beginning, looking over what champions people were using, we're like, this is a lot. This isn't very diverse, but it wasn't diverse because people were like, oh, Bertram decks. No, we've been showing Tetzot, Tetzot, Tetzot. It's kind of not what I was expecting to be featuring all day. And not only that, a good variety. We've seen Diamond, Wild, Ruby, Blood, the gamut, all the shards. Perhaps many of those Bertram decks were robot aggro decks trying their luck. Some of the newer players that have maybe joined Hex in the past 2 months, giving it a fair shake for door prizes, constructed experience just to play. It's free after all. And yeah. But GPrime still on 3, but can actually play almost everything in hand. And I mean, tunneled Reese is tunneled Reese. It does what it does. Cerulean Mirror Knight coming down for trying to read. I can't read my tiny screen. For Mague.
Mague.
Cerulean Mirror Knight. Usually better played before the Buccaneer, but sometimes you can't help it. You top deck it, might as well play it. Buccaneer hitting for 2. And that seems to be the first damage done this game to GPrime. The first.
It does seem that way. He's going to time ripple the Mirror Knight, of course. And, I mean, when you're sitting on a Reese and 3 verdicts, you feel pretty safe. The only thing that's really going to change anything here is another Buccaneer, which he's just played one. So, maybe not too likely. He would do well to pick up another resource here so he can double verdict if he needs to.
Double Buccaneer makes that a 6-cost Reese, and 3 resources needed to replay him.
Consider playing that Mentalist there, I think, because he knows that the robots potentially that Reese creates can get inspired, but I think he's got to hold back. You know, a single Ruby from Mague here could... Oh!
He is doing it.
I was about to say a single Ruby from Mague here could completely
Unfortunately,
unravel.
it's a charge bot. But fortunately, that actually gives GPrime a charge toward that charge power. Could be nice. And that Ruby has been found.
Let's see if he's got the burn. Not an actual burn, but the burn in general. The direct damage Ruby effects to get rid of a Reese. He might have Heat Wave. He might have.
And that is a Buccaneer, which means that is about to be a 6-cost Reese. I guess he could tunnel it.
I mean, it'd probably be quicker to at this point. But it's not the end of the world. He does have a Dreamer in hand still. He does have a Mentalist on board. If he puts that Dreamer into play, likely the end result is going to be a Dreamer which draws 2 cards every time it deals damage. Not the worst thing in the entire world.
And indeed, we do see a resource. Is he going to opt to attack? Doubtful, because the Buccaneers can double block Mentalist. Mentalist probably more useful alive. Lots of things in hand that can be inspired. There's that 2 damage on damaging a champion Eldritch Dreamer.
I think at this point the Mentalist is more valuable alive until that charge power kicks off.
GPrime almost proving us wrong as we say that, but thinks about it, decides to side with us, and leaves his Mentalist alive.
that also gives him the option to, block with his Mentalists if the swing comes in. Likely the swing won't happen, but if the swing did happen, he could block with Mentalists instead of risking his Eldritch Dreamer. Replace the Storm Cloud. The Storm Cloud here having 3 counters on it now. Obviously 2 from before. Burn comes down onto Dreamer. I can only assume there's a double
We'd like to
burn
see
coming
another.
here.
Takes out 2 burns from his opponent's hand. That is the threat of double draw card draw, unblockable.
It's a pretty big threat, honestly.
And without the protection of those verdicts either. Now here's an interesting thought. Now since GPrime has just not been drawing shards, when he finally does get that charge power, that's more shards in his deck.
That's an interesting tunneler.
This is cool because he knows that there's a recent hand, so this could be tricking Mague into an attack, thinking that that's just that retunneled.
I would have swung with Mentalist if I was going to put Fishersmith down, but I guess he still doesn't want to lose it. He doesn't really. I still don't think there's going to be a swing here, though.
That Mirror Knight and a 4-charge Stormcloud. Oh, but it is 3 cost pointed out by GPrime. I wouldn't have caught that, so that means the Stormlings will not be inspired by Mirror Knight, so that's not as scary as it could have been.
I mean, really, all Mague gains here by attacking is 2 damage and losing a troop off the board.
Yeah, if he wanted to bait that in, an attack from the Mentalist might have been better.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's just a case of the fact that he wanted to play something.
He's been holding his verdicts, but the burns are gone. There's only 2 cards left in Magu's hand. Anything he's wanted to interrupt our troops. And that might even be his own race underground.
That could be a thing. Still not drawing the shards he needs. He's 1 solitary charge away from getting that charge power online. He's 2 charges away now. 2 shards away from hard casting the Reese. At this point, he's decided to tunnel it.
It's his own Fishersmith. No races for Mague, but here's another troop. Now 3 Stormlings all have flight. 7 troops on Magu's board. That's the second Ruby that enables a little card called Gore Feast. Not that you'd do it with 2 resources open, but maybe. Oh, just Falconer.
That is a spicy meatball right there. Just so much shard screw on GPrime side here.
We'll probably see the 3 Stormlings attack just to get 3 damage in. They're flight. There's no defense against that. They're not worth bounce. They're not worth anything really. Nothing single target. But damage is damage. GPrime gets another chance at a shard. Finally gets it. So what does that open up? Buccaneer on the Falconer, maybe? He gets inspired, if he could ever get through his opponent's board. A second Mentalist? Doesn't need to be played now.
I'm not sure. I think that the Falconer is a little bit suicidal.
The Mirror Knight, maybe? The Falconer's already inspired. The Fishersmith? Nothing there he wants to balance. I guess Mirror Knight is the best thing he can. He's spamming that charge power, going, I want to use this charge power. But opts to wait for that. He does have the charges to do it, though.
With the looming threat of Gore Feast,
He
actually,
might.
I guess it's not too bad. There's only 4 ground troops right now, so he can deal with what is on the ground.
And I mean, it's not as if there aren't 3 verdicts in hand. I don't think he fears Gore Feast at all. As long as he can keep 2 open.
Now it's completely fine, because obviously there's only one card in his opponent's hand, so he can't have any interrupts of his own.
Wondering Falcons, Stormlings, that damage adds up. 7 damage this turn. Opponent's at 8. Reese is still a turn away.
I think this might be it. I think that GPrime's goose is cooked. He gets perhaps one more draw. He does need to use charge power here because of the charge power on the opposing side. Currently have 7 damage in the air. He actually also needs to play this Mentalist. Actually, no, he doesn't. He's got a Time Ripple. That at least is true. Doesn't need to play the Mentalist. The Time Ripple will save him.
Just not being able to protect that Reese, not being able to get it out, not losing 4 or 5 turns. And with that burn, it can be verdicted, but I don't know if
He does have to. He cannot resolve that burn. That, I believe.
I think he's just given up at this
cost him the
point. Because either way,
I think he forgot the charge power here. Okay, no Alpha. Alpha would have won there. Oh, no, it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't. God! Completely missed it if he rippled the Falconer.
it's still not great because he can just replay the Falconer and be like, all right, next turn I've got 4 Falcons.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, GPrime just showing that he's definitely playing this game better than I would have right now. Although I probably would have noticed if I was playing myself. But that takes off a significant amount of damage. I was not considering that as an option. Still, an Alpha here would have done 1 extra damage, I think. And GPrime's still in trouble.
In the trouble. Reese is still 1 turn away.
Alex is not what he needs. There is more than enough damage in the sky and no way to stop it.
Cloudlings. The Thunder Puffs have done their damage. And with that, is that the end of that match?